The political sands seem to be shifting quite rapidly. Former Joburg Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda being placed on special leave yesterday, effective immediately. That decision follows his arrest on Friday. According to the NPA, Gwamanda actually appeared in the Protea Magistrate's court that same day alongside his co-accused, Mduduzi Zonde. They charged with fraud amounting to about 12,000 rand. It's understood they were released on bail for 2,000 rand or of 2,000 rand each, with the case postponed to December the 3rd. But what does this actually tell us about the coalition in Johannesburg, more specifically, Gauteng broadly, but I suppose we'll restrict our discussion to the city as a start. And for that, let's bring in our guest, leadership specialist, Professor Mazwe Majola, who joins us now via our video link. Prof, thanks for your time and patience, and welcome to the SABC. Perhaps we could speak about leadership as a start. I mean, you know, there had been warning signs about Kabelo Gwamanda from very early on, I think before he was even elected mayor of Johannesburg. And those who were sounding the alarm then are surprised that people are surprised now.
Well, yes, good morning, Ayanda. And it's very unfortunate because they could have picked this up during the time of negotiations between coalition's partners. And I think Al-Jamaa has really disappointed many South Africans here because they feel that a candidate who's questionable in terms of his integrity and credibility. And even once they've heard what he has done, they haven't taken any drastic measures. Instead, they've tried to protect and defend him. So it's very, very wrong, and it's very, very unfortunate from Al-Jamaa's side. ANC side, yes, they say they were not aware about this, but we've heard that the Gwamanda was not even vetted in the first place. So you can see that it seems like the emphasis is more on the relationship and agreement between political parties over the residents of Johannesburg or even South Africa as a whole.
Yeah, well, in their own defense, they're saying that, in fact, it's the IEC that typically conducts any kind of vetting, but I wonder if that is good enough, quite frankly. Another defense that some of the coalition partners have put up, justifying why they still voted for Kabelo Gwamanda, was that, you know, in politics, there's constant mudslinging, you know. So when, I think in Popalate first made the allegations around this alleged funeral policy scam, some of Gwamanda's allies, loosely speaking, have come out to say that, you know, we couldn't really do anything because that's what happens in politics. People make all kinds of statements. Sometimes the statements stick, sometimes they don't. My question to you is that a good enough reason with the benefit of hindsight?
No, it's true. Politics is a dirty game. So there are people who will say all sorts of things, and you cannot just jump each and every time that they say it. And also it's true that a credible and an ethical organization will always take very serious certain allegations made about their members. So they will not just put that under the carpet. They will make sure that if there's any allegation, they will make sure that the person that represents the organization is beyond approach. So really, it has to do with integrity here. It has to do with credibility of a political party, but also of that leader who's leading that party. You cannot just shut off any allegation just because it's politics. You want to make sure that you investigate, and also just to ensure the residents that the person that we are giving to you, it's above reproach.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going to go to next, Prof. What does this moment tell us about the quality of leaders we've got in the city? I mean, yes, these are all allegations, but notwithstanding, this is an individual who still made it onto the mayor's chair, wore the mayoral chains for a couple of months, even whilst he was facing these kinds of claims.
It's very disappointing. It's very underwhelming because it seems like you've got leadership that do not value and respect the residents of the city of Johannesburg. Instead, they would like to placate and nurse each other's feelings. For instance, the executive mayor really has missed a golden opportunity here to remove the MMC. The fact that he has placed him on special leave, it's just so wrong. It's pathetic because why are you putting this member on special leave, someone who's facing serious allegations, instead of removing this person, instead of talking to to Al-Jamaa and say, look, because of our agreement, I would like to remove this representative of yours, but will you substitute with another one from your party? At least you could have done that. But just to keep a person and say, I'll just place him on special leave, it's not a good leadership. It does not demonstrate seriousness in terms of dealing with ethical leadership in the city.
Yeah, fair enough. The cynics among us are already suggesting that this special leave will extend for quite some time until, I don't know, perhaps the news cycle shifts again and we all kind of move on and forget. All of this while Kabelo Gwamanda potentially continues getting his salary.
Absolutely. That's why I say it's not about serving the city of Johannesburg. It's about more trying to not to upset the Al-Jamaa as a partner in the coalition. So let's try to find a way of doing this, of taking a decision, but not taking a sufficient decision. So that is why I'm saying it's so wrong, and really the executive mayor here has opted to prioritize the inter-party relations over the needs and the interest of Johannesburg residents.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a special council sitting planned for today. The Speaker is going to preside over that. To be fair, we're not really privy of what is likely to be discussed. But if you had the ear of the Mayor, perhaps even the Speaker this morning, what would be your advice then about how to proceed with dealing with this issue?
Well, I would say that the Speaker should be very strong in terms of invoking the codes of ethics and the codes of conduct of the city for councillors. Obviously, the Speaker is more dealing with the legislation side, whereas the executive mayor is dealing on the executive side. So the Speaker obviously doesn't have any responsibility in terms of who is on the executive. That is a mayor's prerogative. But at least she can just take this opportunity to invoke and also to show all councillors that they mean business when it comes to corruption and also when it comes to ethical leadership within the city.
All right. Hopefully they hear you loud and clear. Professor Mazwe Majola, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Professor Majola speaking as a leadership specialist there as we make sense of the latest developments in the city of Johannesburg. Once again, Prof, thanks very much indeed.